A man is dead after he was struck by a vehicle while crossing the road in the city's West End early this morning. We have the latest on the investigation. Good evening. Rahim is off. A rash of deadly crashes on GTA roads in just over 12 hours. 4 people have been killed, including a pedestrian. He was struck early this morning while crossing Eglinton Avenue. CTV's Beth McDonnell joins us now live from the scene, and Beth has the latest on what's been going on. Beth.
This is an area with very heavy traffic volumes heading to Allen Road. Tonight, it's unclear if the man who died was walking in a crosswalk in a warning. Some viewers may find the images in this story disturbing. Evidence markers sit on the street between 2 sets of streetlights. It's near the spot where around 1:20 Sunday morning, Toronto police say a man walking across Eglinton Avenue West was struck by a Honda Accord and killed.
This is an incredibly heartbreaking incident, and our thoughts are with the family at this difficult time.
Officers say the man was crossing from the north side of Eglinton to the south side near Old Park Road. They say the Honda Accord was going westbound and the 23-year-old driver remained on scene and is cooperating.
No information to say a speed play a factor at this time.
In security video obtained by CTV News, the sound of the collision is heard. Just moments later, a car advances, then comes to a stop. Shortly after that, a man is seen running in a panic towards the victim and another vehicle that appears to stop to help.
I'm surprised it hasn't happened more often, quite frankly.
As the investigation continues, people who live and work in the area have traffic and safety concerns. This woman with her own story of being struck.
I was hit at this corner with someone not looking where they were going, and just one was in a hurry. Everybody's frustrated, and it's just a terrible situation. I don't know how they can fix it.
Joey Vogel runs a business on the corner of Old Park Road in Eglinton. She says a girl in a stroller was hit at the intersection about 18 months ago, who also escaped without physical injuries.
It was terrifying. It was absolutely horrifying. The screams and the fact that it was a little kid. She was fine, but it still shows that this area needs some help.
The fatal collision happened a few hundred meters from the Allen Road on-ramp. The volume of traffic heading there, a big issue.
It's a very busy street, right? Like the Allen's just down there, so it's always busy. There's always traffic. People are swerving in and out.
People need to slow down a bit. They need to slow down and look where they're going all the time.
Anyone with information or video involving the man who was struck early Sunday is asked to contact police. Police say they can't confirm the age of the man who died because he hasn't been identified. Reporting live, I'm Beth McDonnell. Andrea, back to you.
Thank you, Beth. A garbage truck driver is dead after his vehicle rolled over on the 401 in Pickering this morning. This was the scene on the westbound collector lanes of the highway approaching Port Union. The crash happened around 7 this morning. OPP say the 44-year-old male driver of the garbage truck was ejected. He was pronounced dead in hospital. A passenger in the vehicle sustained minor injuries, and the cause of the crash remains under investigation. Anyone with information or dash cam footage is asked to get in touch with police. And turning to another fatal crash on the 401. This one happened around 8:20 last night in the eastbound collector lanes near Mississauga Road. OPP say a 78-year-old woman who was a passenger was killed in the 3-vehicle crash. The driver of that vehicle was taken to hospital with minor injuries. No one else was injured. OPP Sergeant Kerry Schmidt also provided an update on that investigation.
Yeah, that was a 3-vehicle crash that happened last night around 8 o'clock on the eastbound lanes of Highway 401 near Mississauga Road. A pickup truck, struck the back of a vehicle, sending it out of control. The rear passenger in that vehicle, a 78-year-old woman, was transported to hospital. Sadly, she was pronounced deceased in hospital. That investigation is ongoing. No reports of charges at this time, but still early on in the investigation, trying to understand what exactly took place there last night.
And one person has been rushed to hospital with life-threatening injuries after being struck by a vehicle on the 401 that police say appeared to be racing. It happened in the westbound express lanes near Renforth Drive just after noon. OPP say it was reported 2 BMWs were driving aggressively and racing on the highway. One of those vehicles then struck a man who was standing outside his pickup truck on the shoulder of the highway. The driver of the vehicle involved did remain on scene, but police are also asking the driver of the other BMW to come forward. And in Burlington, one person is dead after a single vehicle crash last night. A red Buick can be seen here, flipped on its roof on Old York Road. Emergency crews responded to the scene just before 7:30 last night and found a 95-year-old driver with severe injuries. He was taken to hospital where he died. Halton police say the vehicle collided with a tree. Investigators are appealing for witnesses. And a 20-year-old man still awaiting trial for a 2024 fatal collision has now been charged with stunt driving in Mississauga. Peel police say Mitchell Hunter was pulled over last Saturday around 1 a.m. for driving 102 kilometers an hour in a 60 zone near Winston Churchill and Argentina. Hunter is still awaiting trial after being charged with dangerous driving causing death back in November of 2024 for a crash in Brampton. Hunter has now been charged with stunt driving and failure to surrender a driver's license. He has received an immediate 30-day driver's license suspension and a 14-day vehicle impoundment. Well, police are searching for a suspect after a man was seriously injured in a daylight downtown shooting this afternoon. It happened around 2:30 near Fort York Boulevard and Queens Wharf Road, just east of Bathurst Street. Police say a man in his 20s was taken to hospital with serious injuries, but he is expected to survive. Investigators say the suspect was last seen fleeing the area in a red-colored SUV, and it is believed to be a targeted incident. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. Well, crews are on the scene of a two-alarm fire that tore through a Scarborough home this afternoon. Police say the call came in around 1:30 in the Ellesmere and Pharmacy Road area. Paramedics tell us one woman was assessed on the scene for smoke inhalation but declined to be transported to hospital. Toronto Fire says crews experienced heavy flames and smoke upon arrival. The main body of the fire has been knocked down, but crews remain on scene monitoring for hotspots.
Crews arrived and there was heavy smoke and flames coming from the back of the building. Crews made a quick attack, trying to get inside the building to ensure there was nobody inside. After the crews got inside, it didn't take long and the fire became too intense and the crews had to move to outside the building and do a defensive attack. We ended up using aerial towers and hand lines from the outside of the building to bring the fire to a slow burn and then finally got it put out.
Fire officials say it's too early to say what may have led to the blaze, but investigators are on scene working to determine the cause. One person was seriously injured in an assault in the city's West End late last night. Police were called to the Old West Road and Roundtree Avenue area around 11:30 last night. Police say the victim sustained large cuts as a result of the assault. They were taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Police are looking for as many as 7 suspects. They took off from the scene in a dark-colored sedan. Well, after being closed due to safety issues 5 years ago, a waterfront bridge is now getting a new lease on life. The landmark and commonly described selfie spot reopened to the public today. CP24's Melissa Duggan has the details.
They were taking a walk across this bridge, the Amsterdam Bridge, connecting. You've got the Amsterdam Brewhouse on one side, the Harbourfront Centre on the other. This has been closed, an area you couldn't strut across since 2021. There were some safety issues, some structural concerns. This actually used to be a lift bridge. It would lift up, allowing boats to cross both ways. Well, there was a bit of a storm damage thing that happened, other structural issues. Those have been repaired. That lift feature, it's since been removed, and now it is finally open for business. We had officials today joining us here today for the ribbon cutting ceremony, making it official. Mayor Olivia Chow on hand, representatives from the city, from Harbourfront Centre, from Creatio, also the Dutch Consul General. Of course, the Amsterdam Bridge. It opened in 1974, marking the twin cities, a symbolism between these two cities as well, the partnership that they share. Here's what they're telling us.
It symbolizes the friendship, but much more, because Amsterdam and Toronto, they're both open-minded cities on gorgeous waterways, and creating a lot of trade and innovation, and the open-mindedness is that what connects people. And not only here in Toronto, and that's a real symbol, but also with the rest of the world.
We want to restore this because we were just taking a tour and recently, and the bridge wasn't restored at that time. I thought, we need to get this done before FIFA World Cup, before the World Cup to Toronto.
This is going to be a hot spot, too, for FIFA World Cup. This part of the process of getting the city ready to welcome the world in less than 2 weeks from now. This is going to be a particular draw as well, because we've got the Canada Soccer House that's going to be opening in the Harbourfront grounds just on the other side. What we're hearing from officials today, this is considered one of the best photo ops in the city, and you can certainly see why. You've got the CN Tower on one side, right in front of the waterfront section of the city. So lots of people are going to be walking along this bridge when FIFA comes to town. Again, less than 2 weeks away. The bridge now back open. Back to you.
CP24's Melissa Duggan, thank you for that report. Well, thousands of people lace up their runners in North York today for Canada's largest public movement to fight global poverty. This is the 41st World Partnership Walk taking place at Downsview Park. From live performances to delicious food vendors and activities, the event is organized by the Aga Khan Foundation Canada. The walk takes place from coast to coast and has raised more than $150 million. If you're wondering where Raheem was today, that's where he was hosting this event. The funds go towards improving food security, access to education, and creating economic opportunities for people in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East.
We're here to celebrate community action that turns into global impact. Everyone here today, whether you're a volunteer, a walker, a fundraiser, or here just to build the vibe, we are helping to fight global poverty. We have seniors activities, we have karaoke, we have chair yoga, we have bubbles for kids, we've got a juggler coming here, and that's what we want. We want a whole community to stand behind this global purpose.
I would have liked to see Raheem do the karaoke. The World Partnership Walk has contributed to over 180 initiatives in 15 different countries. Well, pedal power, not horsepower, took over the DVP in Gardner today. You may have been upset if you were driving, but it was all for a good cause. The Bike for Brain Health fundraiser is in support of Baycrest's research into Alzheimer's and related forms of dementia. The ride started out earlier this morning at the Aga Khan Museum on Winford Drive. Those taking part chose between a 30, 60, or 90-kilometer ride. We caught up with some riders on why it was important for them to take part in today's event.
I like to, spread awareness and, raise money for the cause. And, it's a good thing for everyone to get together and collectively come out and ride for something together. And it's unifying, I feel like.
For me, riding today means, community, and it means trying to take care of my body so that I'm setting myself up well for the future, because we've seen directly how dementia and brain health has impacted our grandparents and our great-grandparents, and we want to both raise money so that there can be more research and also set ourselves up for the best future we can.
I think it's an important cause. I mean, it's good to raise awareness about it. On top of it, I have people in my life who have been affected by it, so I think it's great. It's a great way to get out in the city, get some exercise in, and raise funds for an important cause.
And of course, this was the reason why the entire DVP and a large stretch of the Gardner was closed to vehicles for most of the day, but both highways reopened around 4 p.m. this afternoon. And for those taking transit this weekend, there are some disruptions to keep in mind. There is currently no service on the Line 2 subway between Jane and Ossington stations for track work. Shuttle buses are running instead, and regular service is set to resume tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And on the GO Transit, there is no train service on the Lakeshore West Line between Mimico and Aldershot. Buses will only serve some of the stations, and the entire Barrie GO line is shut down this weekend. 11 stations will be out of service, including Downsview, which will impact concert goers heading up to Rogers Stadium for the final Bruno Mars show in Toronto tonight. Well, the start of June, tomorrow, means many TTC riders will be choosing whether to buy a monthly fare pass, but soon that decision will be a thing of the past. June, July, and August will be the last 3 months where the TTC offers its monthly passes. Right now, adult riders pay $156 a month or $143 on a 12-month contract. But starting September 1st, regular riders will be charged a maximum of 47 fares per calendar month on the same payment method. After that, they can tap in for free for the rest of the month. The TTC says the move offers the benefits of a monthly pass without upfront costs, as transit advocates call for lower fare caps. More news in a moment, everybody. Take a look at this beautiful shot of the city. It really was a fantastic day. Let's take a look, everybody, at your satellite radar. This is why it is such a beautiful day. You can see any precipitation has moved to the east of us. We really didn't get any here, so this is why it is so lovely and clear. As we look at our current conditions, a little breezy, 22 kilometers an hour in Toronto, and only 9 kilometers an hour in Kingston and Windsor. So you can see there's a path that we're right in the middle of, and that is the more blusty one. You can see here, currently our temperature is 22 degrees in Toronto, and oh, that's Hamilton. I don't think Toronto's on there, but it's right about the same, 22, 21 in London. And there you go. And this is the Toronto Islands right now, 24 degrees. Usually it's not as mild down or as warm down at the islands, but it's 24, 23 at Pearson, and tonight it's going down to 12 degrees. Well, to Ottawa now, where news that the country has entered a technical recession is prompting renewed criticism of the Prime Minister. Here is CTV's Jeremy Sharon with what the official opposition had to say and the government's response.
In a Sunday morning letter to the Prime Minister, a push from Pierre Poilievre for Mark Carney to answer for the state of Canada's economy. Calling for an emergency debate in Parliament over the issue, you promised you would deliver the fastest growing economy in the G7. You delivered the only recession in the G7, wrote Poilievre.
This is a full-blown Liberal recession.
A Friday report from Statistics Canada showed the country's economy contracted slightly for a second straight quarter, meeting the technical definition of a recession. Poilievre lays the blame on the government.
This is people's lives. Behind these statistics are empty stomachs, empty fridges, and empty bank accounts.
We asked people in Ottawa what they think and what or who they blamed for it.
I do feel like times are tough.
It feels like a standstill, and a lot of people that you talk to, they feel like they're never getting ahead.
Are we really in this session as a result of factors that were the last 2-3 years, or is this a reflection of the current government?
Some economists poured cold water on the recession talk, arguing the declines are marginal and don't indicate a widespread downturn.
Economists tend to be very careful around using the word recession. The truth is that the economy is not in good shape. Through most of 2025, we struggled up and down.
But most are clear the country's economy is struggling to gain traction, and that can't be ignored.
We need to deal with this. The difficulty is that certain parts of the country are struggling, while other parts of the country really are faring quite well.
In a statement to CTV News, the finance minister's office called Poilievre's letter political theater, chalking up the downturn to external factors like the U.S. trade war and pointing to efforts to build new global relationships and attract major investment here at home. Jeremy Sherrill, CTV News, Ottawa.
Amid uncertainty ahead of the looming deadline to discuss the future of the Canada-U.S.-Mexico Free Trade Agreement, Canada's previous ambassador to the U.S. doesn't think the deal itself is going anywhere.
I personally do not believe that the agreement will go away. And USTR has said that. But more importantly, I just think that the economic ramifications for the United States are too serious. They're very serious for Canada. They're very serious for Mexico. I hope I'm not wrong. You can never say anything for certain in this particular context. But my money's on that agreement staying, maybe being modified, but staying in place.
Hillman pointed out that the July 1st deadline is not a make or break date, and she expects further clarity on what the U.S. wants changed in the coming month. Meanwhile, there's more fallout from the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to strike down a portion of President Trump's tariffs, saying he didn't have the authority to impose them. The White House has announced plans to appeal a ruling that lets all importers who paid those now canceled tariffs apply for refunds. The administration plans to argue the order should only apply to companies that specifically filed lawsuits against the tariffs. U.S. Customs says payments began on May 12th, with about $85 billion in claims already being processed. Well, the ongoing labor standoff between Canada Post and its unionized workers could come to an end tomorrow. Some 55,000 members of the Canadian Union of Postal Workers had up until yesterday to have their say on a new tentative agreement with the Crown Corporation. The results are set to be announced tomorrow. The deal followed a lengthy dispute between the two sides. With postal workers going on strike a few times, the Crown Corporation has recorded more than $5 billion in losses since 2018, citing cratering demand for letter shipments and more competition in package delivery. Economic uncertainty has many companies holding off on hiring summer staff, leaving teenagers and young adults frustrated in their job search. CTV's Kamal Karamali has more on Canada's growing youth unemployment rate and when it may come back down.
I was just wondering if you guys are hiring.
This has been Tyrese Phillips' reality for the past 3 years.
KJ, I'm Ty.
Nice to meet you. On the job hunt, store after store, handing him rejection after rejection.
In store, you don't hear nothing. Nobody gives you a call. Nobody gives you an email. It is a battle. It's a battle to even want to continue trying.
Now, new data shows the number of youth between the ages of 15 and 24 without a job has been on the rise in Canada. 3 years ago, the youth unemployment rate was just over 9%. Now, in April of this year, it's over 14%.
They're struggling to get that first job, that first foot in the door of the work market.
High interest rates and economic uncertainty related to the trade war with the U.S. has meant companies are taking fewer risks. Long-term business investments in Canada has dropped for a 5th straight quarter, says Canada's data agency. Companies instead going with hiring freezes or looking for more experienced workers, or even worse.
Right now, our members are looking to lay off more staff than they are looking to hire.
Rapid population growth over the past few years has increased competition for entry-level jobs, but that is likely to change.
We are going to see some progress for Canadian youth over the coming year as the temporary foreign worker program rolls back. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen instantly. It is going to take many more months.
So experts instead with this advice.
Work your networks. See who you know and see who might be hiring.
I was just wondering if
For Tyrese Phillips, he certainly plans to.
Keep your head high. You just have to look into the future and just imagine something for yourself.
Hoping this summer is the one where he can finally bring home
Have a good day.
A paycheck. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
I wish them all the best. Well, France's Interior Ministry says more than 200 people were injured and one person was killed during chaotic soccer celebrations last night. Paris Saint-Germain defeated Arsenal for a second consecutive Champions League win. The game happened in Budapest, but in Paris and surrounding areas, more than 400 people were taken into custody amid widespread reports of rioting and vandalism. The chaos prompted French leaders across the political spectrum to offer different reasons for the unrest and how to address it. Well, in the Middle East, the weekend has come and gone without a firm deal in place to end the war between the United States and Iran. That's despite signals some progress was being made. According to CNN, U.S. President Donald Trump sent back changes to the latest version of the proposed deal with Iran after he had a meeting with advisors on Friday. Officials told the network the president had insisted on tougher language surrounding Iran's nuclear commitments and its pledge to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran's top negotiator said today that no deal with the U.S. will go ahead unless Iran's rights are guaranteed. Meanwhile, France has requested an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council for tomorrow as Israel expands its ground and air incursions into southern Lebanon. Israel says it's there to target Iran-backed Hezbollah militants who've been firing nonstop into northern Israeli communities. Lebanon's prime minister has accused Israel of pursuing a scorched earth policy and collective punishment. The head of the World Health Organization visited a new Ebola treatment center in the Democratic Republic of Congo today as health officials and aid groups ramp up efforts to contain the viral outbreak centered in that country.
If you come to the facilities, to health facilities, when you have symptoms, you can get the support and recover. So the key is to come forward as early as possible and to get the necessary support. Through that, you can recover.
The World Health Organization has declared a global health emergency over the outbreak, which has killed at least 263 people in the DRC, with more than 1,100 suspected cases under investigation. As Canada, the U.S. and Mexico prepare to welcome visitors from around the globe for the FIFA World Cup, they've imposed limits on travel from Congo as well as Uganda and South Sudan, where cases have been reported. Citizens or permanent residents and other travelers still authorized to return from there have to isolate for 21 days.
I think this is more of a policy to reduce the risk that's already low of importing a case of Ebola and ensuring that if there is a very, very rare case of imported Ebola, there's even less risk of subsequent transmission in the country. But that, I think the real point here is, the way that this gets under control is if we really pour resources into the impacted areas and support the countries impacted and also support the global efforts to quell this epidemic. That's how this gets under control faster. And, Canada has ponied up about $8 million to international relief efforts, to frontline staff, to PPE, to all the sorts of logistical support that's needed to quell this epidemic. So that's really what the global community should be doing.
Congo's Ebola response team says officials are cautiously optimistic. They note this Ebola strain isn't as complex as in past outbreaks and can likely be brought under control quickly with partner support. Well, homeless shelters and charitable organizations across the country are feeling the pressure of rising operating costs, and the ability for some to continue supporting those in need is now in jeopardy. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth reports.
A struggle to survive for Souls Harbor Rescue Mission, navigating skyrocketing prices, transportation, and shipping costs.
Our energy costs across the board have risen 12%.
Every day at 9 locations across Nova Scotia, Souls Harbor provides overnight shelter for more than 100 people while serving 1,200 meals.
12% can cut into the revenue needed to buy food, to take care of people.
Like Kim Reed, who relies on Souls Harbor as a critical lifeline.
I can't afford groceries, so without places like this, I would starve to death.
High energy costs limit the amount of money to buy food and materials. It also lowers public donations because some people can no longer afford to give.
It's going to put a hit not only on our budget and other charities, but the average consumer.
Affordability has become a crisis, not just in Nova Scotia, but across the country.
Prices of things have gone up faster than wages in our society, and that impacts people who's with lower wages more prominently sooner.
Michael Kablin has concerns about the continued crushing impact on shelters and charitable organizations.
As costs go up, we're seeing the charities and the other nonprofits who support folks also struggle.
As the cost of energy continues to climb, putting the pinch on Souls Harbor, it raises questions about sustainability. How long can they survive in a financial climate like this one?
I think if it went on forever and ever and we were severely impacted financially by the economy, we would probably have to close some of our smaller centers in those communities.
According to Porter, that's a worst-case scenario.
I would just hate to do that.
Times are tough, but Porter is committed to finding new strategies to raise money and increase donations so Souls Harbor can support Nova Scotians every day. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
Okay, so the World Cup is coming, and after that, Carnival in Toronto. Carol Charles has a story that puts the two together. That's coming up later on.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Welcome back, everybody. A lovely day in the city today. Not too warm, not too cool. No complaints for me, because I often complain about the weather. Let's move on to show you. Look at that bug just flying around there. Let's take a look at our current conditions right now. 23 degrees in Toronto, 22 in Trenton, and 23 in Windsor. Again, no complaints, all pretty consistent right throughout the area. Tonight, we're right where we should be at 12 degrees. Waterloo will be 8 degrees, a couple degrees below normal, but everyone is pretty much where they should be for this time of year, and so should be pleasant for sleeping. Tomorrow morning, if you're getting up bright and early to go for a ride or a run, 5 a.m., 12 degrees, and slowly the temperature will climb and the sun will come out. By 9 a.m., it'll be 15 degrees. There is a UV index you need to be concerned about, so you want to practice safe sun out there today. And the wind is from the northeast, so really not much of a concern. Looking at our highs tomorrow, we are looking at 21 degrees tomorrow, so a little cooler than today. But just a degree below normal for this time of year. So it's pretty consistent throughout the area. We are in the low 20s. As we look at our UV index, even though it's not going to be very warm, 6 will be the UV index tomorrow, and that is high, so you want to be aware of that. While it is not, as I said, very warm or hot, the sun is still a factor, so you want to be aware of that. Looking at the next week, everybody, it is a pretty good week, at least for the first 4 days. Only a chance of rain on beginning on Friday. You can see the temperature goes from 21 all the way up to 28 on Thursday and Friday, and potential showers on the weekend. But again, we're a little way off, and things could change. New research from McMaster University suggests more Canadian kindergartners are facing developmental challenges in the wake of lengthy school closures during the pandemic. Researchers collected data from more than 500,000 kids before and after the COVID pandemic, looking at developmental areas like health and well-being, social competence, emotional maturity, language and cognitive development, communication skills, and general knowledge. For kids with special needs, there was a 2.5% increase in developmental vulnerability. Researchers also saw increases in hyperactive behaviors and challenges in attention and concentration. One professor says the data should be a wake-up call.
It potentially means that there will be, across the years, there will be more children coming with developmental difficulties, with potential special educational needs throughout their academic careers. Because the other thing that we know from our prior research and research that other people have done with similar methodologies is that the developmental status in kindergarten is very highly predictive of later academic and social outcomes.
The team behind the study says a long-term solution could involve more specialized training for teachers to understand what these vulnerabilities look like. The results of a large international clinical trial are out, and they could change how medical professionals choose to treat many breast cancer patients. Researchers at University College London tracked 4,400 breast cancer patients across several countries. Those individuals are often offered chemotherapy and hormone therapy, but this study saw some patients receive just hormone therapy. They were chosen if their cancerous tissue showed low levels of genes linked to breast cancer growth. 5 years after treatment, the study found a 2% difference in the amount of people who were alive and cancer-free between the two groups, suggesting the test can accurately help identify who chemo would help and who would be able to skip it without impacting their treatment. To sports now, the Blue Jays were looking for a series win in Baltimore this afternoon after a really tough loss yesterday.
And he was looking for the heater that time after back-to-back curveballs. Colton Cowser has struck for a 3-run homer.
Boo. It was a tough start for the Jays. Rookie pitcher Spencer Miles giving up a 3-run homer in the third. As the Orioles extended their lead to 6-0, the Jays would get a 3-run homer of their own in the 8th inning, but it wouldn't be enough. The Jays fell 9-5. What a way to make a living. And it split the series. They're back in action Tuesday, visiting the league-leading Atlanta Braves. And on the pitch, AFC Toronto was hoping to put an end to a 2-game losing streak, visiting the Calgary Wild today.
Talbot, under pressure, and that's trouble. It's Lauren Rowe. A disaster in front of the Calgary goal, but Lauren Rowe.
Toronto got on the board early in the first half after Lauren Rowe stole the ball from the Calgary goalkeeper, putting it in the back of the net. Toronto would add 3 more in the second half to win the game 4-0. They have a couple of weeks off before they return to the pitch June 13th against the Montreal Roses. Well, with World Cup fever taking over the city, one Toronto mass band is planning to bring soccer fever to the Carnival parade route this summer. CTV's Carol Charles has a sneak peek.
Carnival Nations wants you to be part of their team. The road to Kitty's Carnival is getting a World Cup makeover this year. Carnival Nations Mass Band is bringing the excitement of international football to the parade route, mixing carnival creativity with soccer pride from around the world.
Canada, South Africa, Brazil, Haiti, Ghana, Argentina, Netherlands, Qatar.
The theme, Villa Copa Mundial, is a colorful celebration inspired by some of the world's biggest soccer nations.
Each section create their own imagination, trying to use the colors of the flags of these countries that they represent. So the beauty of it, we try to showcase the culture, the heritage, as well as the carnival atmosphere to bring the festival beautiful for juniors this year.
And for these young masqueraders, the excitement is already building long before parade day. Families got a first look at this year's costumes, each one designed to capture the energy, colors, and culture of the countries they represent. It's that excitement that keeps Carnival Nations band leader Bryce Aguiton and his team of volunteers working year-round to bring the vision to life.
That vibe and the energy that is going to be coming here in the summer, you know, we want to play off of that as well as and pay homage to the countries that we love.
And when it comes to Carnival, it's not just about wearing the costume. It's about bringing championship energy to the road.
And at the end of the day, we just hold true that how when somebody walks in with the colors, they can say, ah, I know that is Portugal, or I know that is Spain, because it's you know, bright red and yellow or burnt orange kind of color scheme.
This year's Kitty's Carnival Parade takes place on Saturday, July 18th. The route starts at the Malvern Community Center and ends at Nielsen Park. Carol Charles, CTV News.
Well, from the soccer pitch to the big screen, the Canadian Screen Awards are going on this evening. We'll be going live to the red carpet later on. It's May 31st, and that means it's the end of Asian Heritage Month. A few weeks ago, I spoke with award-winning actor Paul Sun-young at the Actor Awards, and he spoke about the importance of a month recognizing the Asian people.
It's an opportunity for community to be seen and to celebrate and to find their voices and share the cultures with so many people. And when I was growing up, this was definitely something I did not want to have anything to do with my culture because, you know, a lot of people didn't know about it. They were misinformed or they were ignorant of it. And so, like, the representation of my culture, many Asian cultures, was often sort of downtrodden, made fun of, being made to be the extra. So, you know, when you have an entire month that is devoted towards celebrating these things and looking at the differences and finding those commonalities as well, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful stepping stone in learning peace for everybody, all these communities to draw together.
Well, comedian Mike Myers and heated rivalry stars Hudson Williams and Sophie Nilles are among those expected at the Canadian Screen Awards tonight. The show will air tonight at 8 p.m. on CTV and Crave. But before the ceremony, of course, celebrities are walking the red carpet. And that's where we find CP24's Jian Lee. G, you are there. Now, something that's new this year, we talked about the fact that Hudson Williams is there. Connor Story will not be recognized or nominated because he's not Canadian. This show only recognizes Canadians. So who are you looking forward to seeing this evening?
Oh my gosh, well, Hudson Williams is on the red carpet right now, and there was a lineup of fans outside, but you know what else is doing really well? North of North, and guess who's joining me now? Anna Lamb and Micah Harper. Out of everybody, I was looking forward the most to see what you ladies were wearing, and you brought your A game. Hey! 20 nominations. How does it feel to have the show recognized in this way?
I mean, it's been amazing, but I think the amount of work that Stacey and Alethea have put into these scripts that they've put into the show, the love that exists, and the way the crew were so dedicated and passionate, and the show's so hard to make. It could have been one that I would understand people would be like, I can't do this. They deserve the recognition so much. So the 20 nominations, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely.
It is so good. I love the chemistry between your characters. Tell me about just being nominated and being here at the Canadian Screen Awards.
How wild is it? We're from a really small town in the Arctic, and if you told my younger self that we'd be here, I wouldn't believe you. And I'm excited for the youth to be able to see themselves in us, but also think big, dream big, and be bold.
We've been asking a lot of the various actors that come by who are they excited to see, and everyone has said the cast from North of North and cast of Heated Rivalry, like two hot shows happening right now. But it must be nice to be recognized by your peers.
I mean, absolutely. There's so many people in this room that I admire so deeply, like Jennifer Whalen and Meredith. Like, they're just so wonderful and have been such trailblazers for women in comedy in Canada. And so, like, I have so much love. Like, I have so much love for them. They're over there right now. And like, being in a room surrounded by your peers who have worked so hard to make this industry what it is and who work every day to continue to expand it, it's such a privilege. And to know that we support each other so closely. Canada's a small country. Our industry is very small, so it's you know, we got to lean into each other.
We do. Small but booming.
Mighty.
Absolutely. Right? What are you looking forward to the most tonight then?
I'm excited to see what everybody's wearing. I really want to see Mike Myers. Like, oh my gosh, I'm just happy to be here, really. Yeah.
I love it. Congratulations, ladies. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Good night. So there you go. My gosh, you've got the stars from North of North. As you know, 20 nominations. You know, that is a huge accomplishment. Heated Rivalry receiving also 18 nominations. We do know that the cast from Heated Rivalry is here. I did see Hudson Williams on the red carpet. We're hoping to do an interview with him. And Mike Myers is expected to walk down the red carpet as well. He's receiving the Icon Award. So a very busy red carpet for the 14th Annual Canadian Screen Awards. We'll send it back to you in studio.
Thanks. CP24's Gian Lee, thank you for that report. Well, it was a big weekend at the movies for horror titles as a story based on an online urban legend claimed the top spot.
It's like a maze. It just goes on and on. Sometimes I'm scared I'll get lost.
I'm shocked at this one. It's been a few years since an internet forum spawned the idea of the back rooms, imagining an alternative dimension of empty rooms where something spooky is afoot. A24's take on the psychological thriller scared up more than, are you sitting down, $81 million US in its debut. Meanwhile, Obsession kept its grip on second place with another $26.4 million in sales across North America. And Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu fell to third with $25 million. Stay with us, folks. More to come after the break. Okay, so the Brain Health ride was earlier today, but this ride is something different. Dozens of cyclists are taking on a massive adventure across Prince Edward Island this weekend for cancer research. CTV's Maria Saru has more.
Anxious to start pedaling, Julie Ricketts pulls on more layers for a chilly start to the 300-kilometer bike ride ahead. It's a daunting physical challenge, but she's been through a tougher one. Ricketts is a breast cancer survivor.
I was never terrified or frightened. I just thought whatever comes next, we will deal with it.
She credits this community of cyclists for giving her strength through surgery and treatment. As dozens pumped tires and geared up for the fundraiser called The Big Ride, many had their own reason for showing up, including the very youngest in the crowd.
My brother died from cancer. My grandpa suffered from cancer.
Over 18 years, riders have raised almost $3 million for cancer research. This year alone, more than $150,000 is going to the Beatrice Hunter Cancer Research Institute in Halifax.
I think everybody likes to push and find where their limits are a little bit. We are not fast by any means. We try to have a beer and some fun after the ride and just support one another.
Most are from Nova Scotia, but there are a couple islanders in the mix.
You know, the only way to actually start supporting, you know, and finding a cure or ways to treat it is through research, right? And these type of events are exactly what encourages that research.
Rolling in for their first nutrition stop, spirits were high.
there's no heat exhaustion, so it's good.
With plenty of road ahead, the riders push on, driven by determination, grit, and memories of loved ones. Maria Saru, CTV News, Board in Carlton, Prince Edward Island.
Okay, going 300 kilometers. I'm glad it's not hot there. Their cycling will keep them warm. Okay, everybody, let's take a final look at the forecast here. Currently about 22, 23 degrees in Toronto. Really lovely, not much to complain about at all. As we look at our school day forecast, great for the kids tomorrow, no complaints. And their quick look at your 7-day forecast. That's it, everybody. I'm out of time. Be sure to join us tonight at 11 for the CTV National News with Heather Butts, followed by our next local newscast at 11:30. In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca. For all the hardworking people in front of and behind the camera, we want to thank you for watching. Have a good night. I'm Andrea Case.